Denise Roche.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When this bill comes to the vote this afternoon for its third and final reading, I implore the members across the House to vote against it. Sir, I'm deeply saddened to be in a parliament that will make a law that will cause its own citizens harm, that will increase the prevalence of problem gambling in my city of Auckland, which will have an impact on individuals, on families, on our communities, on businesses and not-for-profits, and by the government officials' own account, it will also have an impact on around 6,500 children who will be directly affected by problem gambling arising from the increase in gambling opportunities in this legislation. Mr. Speaker, I'm ashamed that this bill is being passed when the proper and full economic analysis has not been done, where even the Treasury advice says that the benefits to Sky City from the gambling concessions in this deal outweigh the public benefits of building an international convention centre. We know that with the extension of Sky City's gambling concessions, that it will be the taxpayer who will carry the cost for the coming years, not Sky City. So the increased problem gambling, the social and community harm, which includes family violence and suicide, and child neglect and crime including loan sharking, money laundering, and the increase in costs associated with mopping up, that will all come from the taxpayer. Sir, I'm deeply disheartened that this government has been entirely focused on the backroom deal to the point where they trampled over due process. Democracy was trampled on, transparency was trampled on, and accountability was trampled on. They deliberately misled other organisations like Ngāti Whātua, like The Edge, who had tended to also build the International Convention Centre, but they were misled during the tender process, and they weren't even going to ask for gambling concessions around this. I'm deeply disturbed, sir, that the government can sell us out so cheaply. In exchange for the $402 million convention centre, we won't even own that convention centre, and this legislation will give Sky City 230 new pokie machines, 40 gambling tables and 12 automated tables with 20 seats at each. And as well as that, I forgot to mention, it will welcome money launderers into their arms with a ticket in, ticket out system that they're seeking to introduce. Sir, I can't fathom how we can be such poor negotiators that we can't even negotiate a cost-neutral deal. That's right. And I guess we have to ask, why would a government allow for those costs, which in terms of this deal is another 8,000 or so people harmed by problem gambling, to not only be uncosted, but to be ignored so totally? One of the submitters on this bill said that if one single person was harmed at all by this deal, then the price was too high. And he's right. What kind of a government thinks it's okay to deliberately create human misery with their legislation? Do we need a convention centre so badly that we would harm our own citizens to get it? The economic projection, independent economic projection from NZIER, says that there will only be 18 jobs created as a result of that. And for that, we will get 6,500 neglected children. Mr. Speaker, physicians are guided by the principle, first, do no harm. I call on politicians across the House to do the same and vote against this bill.
Jamie Lee Ross.
Mr. Speaker, the opposition parties in this House like to call this a dodgy deal. Well, I say the only dodgy deal is a deal done